On behalf of the mayor and city council, let me welcome you to City Hall. The City of Jacksonville is the home of Camp Lejeune and New River Air Station, and one of 5 cities in North Carolina that serve as a military host city. Actually, the word around City Hall is that of the 5 host cities, we're number 1. Now, you might think I'm biased, and you're right. Over 55,000 Marines and sailors are stationed here, with about 60% of the military families living within the city. We are proud of our military and its major role in Jacksonville history and its importance in our designation as a caring community. You might notice on the city flag the yellow ribbon and a caring community logo. How that came about was in 1992, Jacksonville was designated as one of 10 All-America cities in the United States. We won that honor because it was because we have become known as a caring community. When faced earlier in 1991 with the deployment of some 40,000 Marines and sailors to the Far East for Operation Desert Storm and Operation Iraqi Freedom, there were many problems and concerns caused by that deployment, problems and concerns from the military spouses and friends and loved ones left behind. Our community responded to those problems and concerns through citizen involvement that continues today. Our community has come together repeatedly to help our military families and loved ones, to help someone in need and to help each other. And tonight, it's our honor to be part of this very special recognition of military service is family service. Congratulations to each of our Military Child of the Year semifinalists. And at this point, I think I'll call on Sophie Jordan to deliver the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please stand. And where is she? There we go. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will ask Coast Guard Chaplain Lieutenant Stephen Lanclough to come up and give the invocation today.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Chaplain Stephen Lanclough. I'm from Base Elizabeth City. I'm glad to be here with you this evening. I was told I had 5 minutes, which is a dangerous thing to tell a preacher, but we'll see if I can get through it. I actually want to begin with a brief poem that reflects on eternity. When our sailing nears its ending, when our course is all but run, when the seas of past endeavor crown upon us one by one, when we see in true perspective, knowing wrong and knowing right, may we say like Saul of Tarsus, I have fought a noble fight. May we find our lifelong courses have not been steered in vain, lest the bearings we have plotted must be reckoned out again. When we leave our earthly bodies buried deep in sea or sod, may our charity be our glory when we go to meet our God. Now, what I like about this poem is that it is a reflection on eternity, something that you're never too young to start thinking about, right? And it's very easy as we have wonderful semifinalists here, and I remember when I was a young man myself, many of you are probably thinking, well, you're still a young man, right? But when I was a younger man than I am now, eternity is not something I gave a lot of thought to. But I have a question for you tonight about eternity, and that is, what are you putting your hope in? Where is your hope? You know, for me, I'm a chaplain, man of faith. I wear my faith right here on my shoulder boards. I'm a Christian chaplain. It's no surprise where my hope is. It's in the person and work of Jesus Christ, my Savior. We just celebrated that this past Easter Sunday, his death on the cross and resurrection for the forgiveness of sins. I'm not here to preach to you tonight. I'm not here to try to sway you to what I believe. But I do want to ask you that question again. Where is your hope? Is your hope in something with staying power, or is your hope in something that is actually fleeting? As a chaplain, I speak with a lot of service members in my office, and they're in tears because they had placed their hope in something that didn't come to pass, or they placed their hope in something that fell apart, that promotion or advancement, and it didn't make the cut. Or my hope was in the relationship that I'm in, and now I just got that Dear John letter, or whatever it might be, right? COVID has taught us a lot about stress. Stress causes, or change causes stress. Anytime there's change, there's going to be a lot of stress. And stress pushes us, through surf and storm and howling gale, as we sing in our Coast Guard hymn. Stress reveals who we are. It also reveals what our foundation is built upon, the foundation of our life. So when those stresses come, I'll ask you again, what is your hope in? Is it in something that is fleeting? Or is it in something that is higher than you? Is it in something that is eternal? Let us pray. Eternal Father, strong to save, we bow our heads and lift our hearts to you. For you, O God, are the lighthouse that lights our paths, the compass that directs our lives, and the anchor that sustains our souls. We give you thanks for all of these semifinalists here tonight. We recognize the incredible impacts these young people have made on their families, on their schools, and on their communities, all while facing the challenges of a military family life. Kindle within their hearts a flame of unwavering honor, respect, and devotion to duty. In faithfully serving you, O God, may they joyfully serve their neighbors, as together we strive to serve each other. In your holy name we pray, Amen.
We would like to recognize some of our distinguished visitors here for today's program. United States Marine Corps Lieutenant General Retired Walter E. Gaskin, Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, is the senior state official for today's program. United States Marine Corps Colonel Curtis Ebbets, Marine Corps Air Station New River Commanding Officer, who is our keynote speaker today. North Carolina State Representative George Cleveland, Royce Bennett, County Councilor, Brian Jackson, City Council, Onslow County School Chief Communications Officer Brent Anderson, Department of Defense Education Activity School Liaison Officer Donna Grady, North Carolina Military Affairs Commission members Dr. Angela Washington, Mr. Joe Spranza, and Mr. Joseph Hull, Captain Paul France, Commanding Officer, United States Coast Guard Special Mission Training Center at Camp Lejeune. We would also like to recognize our partners who wanted to acknowledge these achievements and have volunteered their resources, personnel, and time to honor our North Carolina semifinalists. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, the City of Jacksonville, Operation Homefront, Charlotte Hornets Foundation, Carolina Panthers Community Outreach Program, North Carolina Military Affairs Commission, the United States Coast Guard, and the United States Marine Corps. And lastly, the friends, families, and community members of the Military Child of the Year semifinalists. With April being the month of the Military Child, we are gathered here today to recognize 9 Military Child of the Year semifinalists from North Carolina. The North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Affairs and the City of Jacksonville established today's event to not only recognize those military children from North Carolina who were semifinalists in Operation Homefront's 2022 program, but also acknowledge all military children supporting their family service members in North Carolina and around the world. It takes a special person to make it to the semifinalist level, and we are proud to have this opportunity to recognize these outstanding military children. Before he comes up to give his remarks, I would like to introduce our senior state official, Secretary Walter E. Gaskin. Before he accepted Governor Roy Cooper's cabinet appointment as Secretary for the North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, Lieutenant General Gaskin served on the North Carolina Military Affairs Commission. From 2010 until his retirement from the United States Marine Corps in 2013, Lieutenant General Gaskin served as a deputy chairman on the North Atlantic Treaty Organization Military Committee in Brussels, Belgium, providing strategic military counsel on operations in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya to NATO's Secretary General and North Atlantic Council. Lieutenant General Gaskin also served as the commanding general of the 2nd Marine Division at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, from June 2006 until July 2008. In addition to this role, he simultaneously served as the commanding general of 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force Forward. During this tour, Lieutenant General Gaskin led 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force Forward during its year-long deployment at Al Anbar Province, Iraq, as a commanding general of Multinational Forces West. A graduate of Savannah State University's NROTC Scholarship Program with a Bachelor of Science, he earned a summa cum laude master's degree in public administration from the University of Oklahoma and completed the Senior Executive Seminar from the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. His military education includes the Amphibious Warfare School, Army Command and Staff College, Army War College, and the Combined Joint Force Land Component Command course. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Gaskin.
Ooh, my mom would be proud. First let me say this is quite an honor. First of all, for coming home, because Camp Lejeune is home to me. After 39 years in the Marine Corps, 25 of those years were coming out of Camp Lejeune for all my major commands and all of my military deployments. So it's great. And to get a chance on this momentous occasion to honor and recognize the remarkable military children. Honestly, we call them military brats. But you understand that, and having had a few of those military brats that came out of the school system here, I applaud you. You know that I am particularly glad that we have a chance to do this in Jacksonville, North Carolina. When the Mayor Pro Tem, as Brenda says, that this is the #1, it's no doubt in my mind. And in this capacity, I get a chance to see all of the communities that support the military, and Jacksonville has them by far, quantum leaps, matter of fact. So today, Jacksonville has a long history. North Carolina has a long history of supporting their armed forces, and there's a special relationship that over 800,000 veterans in this state. So, and there are 20 counties that actually surround these military installations. But there is none better than what we develop here in North Carolina for serving as Marines, leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, contractors, and educators. The city of Jacksonville is particularly proud and a prime example of what local communities can do as they join forces with the military. There was an interesting thing that when I took this job, I went around to see each one of the commanders, and all the commanders, whether it was Eric Carilla of the 18th Airborne Corps, and then at the time Brian Badeau, and still Bill Journey here at 2MEF, all talked about the fact that 65 in Marine Corps case and 70% of out of Fort Bragg, the military lives in the communities. The community is the military, and the thing is, so unlike the days probably when Representative Cleveland and we were in, everybody stayed on base and that kind of stuff. But now it is a part of the community. So when we talk about recognizing those kids, so think about it. Despite the challenge that the children face as they overcome with grace, resiliency, and bravery, all of them have an issue. And if my son was here, he would tell you, when we came here from Korea, and by the time we checked in, he had to go to White Oak High School. The football team had already been picked, and the things of that, all the friends that he had left in Korea was starting all over again. So think about what the kids, that resiliency. And so it is only right that we have the month of April is a time to recognize that military child and what they go through and how they support. You know, that their role to play is mom and dad deploy, and they become a part of the family plan, and they see the special events and importance of those children understanding, but in spite of it, they do well. That's what makes these kids important. That's why we have a special day, because they do special stuff. And I guarantee you that every college in the nation wants a military child, because they realize that they have already passed the test of resiliency, go to it, get it, and they produce very well with that mobile lifestyle that they grew up to. So it is with affection that we call them the military brats, because they adjust. The Military Child of the Year is sponsored operation by Homefront. It's designated to recognize the incredible impact that these exceptional young people have on their families, schools, and communities. The program takes into account factors including scholarship, volunteerism, and I often think about, when we talk to our kids about volunteerism, what happened when these hurricanes hit? All the kids and all the families are out there cleaning up everybody's yard, making sure that all is done. These are our kids, and they understand. So it's important that we understand the total involvement of what they're being celebrated for. Of the 89 semifinalists recognized by Operation Homefront this year, 9 of them, roughly 10%, right here from North Carolina. That you should be very proud of. Every one of us should know, as North Carolinians, we hang in there because of this interaction between the community. So today I will present you with a symbol of appreciation, a proclamation from Governor Cooper, and to acknowledgement of the outstanding support and interaction between the services. And having been one of the old guys, been around like Sergeant Major Who, we know that interaction between the community goes, when we were in shock, we talk about what happened at Desert Storm, but for us, it all goes back to 1983 when we were coming back from the bombing that happened in Lebanon, and how this community, and if you go down the boulevard, you'll see trees that were planted by this community. So this has always been a place where the armed forces satisfies that family connection. So when everybody says that I'm from Jacksonville, or they say the Marine Corps, is almost synonymous, because if you're a Marine, you're from Jacksonville. You know, it's I know the cherry point up there in Craven County is like that, but the folks out of New River and mainline Jacksonville, and I often tease them about, we call it Mickey East now because Marine Corps base. And if Bobby Dickerson was around here, he would tell you that it has always been Marine Corps base that celebrates the city and the city's adjoining. So it's quite an honor for me to be a part of that and to support that. And so with that, we're going to get the proclamation that the governor has presented to these fine young military brats. And congratulations. We'll talk about it. So, Mayor, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The proclamation reads, State of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, Governor, Month of the Military Child 2022, by the Governor of the State of North Carolina, a proclamation. Whereas the strength of our armed forces comes not only from our brave service members, but from their families, who also serve on behalf of our great nation. And whereas North Carolina military children face unique challenges, such as changes of station, deployments of parents, caring for their wounded parent, or coping with the ultimate loss of a fallen parent. And whereas North Carolina is dedicated to further strengthening our state's longstanding relationship with the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security, in part by providing the unique support and active outreach that military communities need. And whereas the North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Affairs manages and maintains the North Carolina Scholarship for children of wartime veterans in appreciation for the services and sacrifices of North Carolina war veterans. And whereas the Month of the Military Child gives an opportunity to recommit to providing our military communities with the necessary resources to support public education, strengthen essential infrastructure, and address the needs of over 50,000 military children in North Carolina, whose parent or guardian serves our nation as a member of the armed forces. And whereas the state of North Carolina encourages our communities, local and state government leaders, private organizations, and businesses to join in commending the children and youth of military families for their exceptional devotion to their loved ones serving as members of the armed forces. Now, therefore, I, Roy Cooper, Governor of the state of North Carolina, do hereby proclaim April 2022 as Month of the Military Child in North Carolina and commend its observance to all citizens. Roy Cooper, Governor.
You'll enjoy a prominent place in City Hall, I assure you.
Thank you, sir.
I would now like to introduce today's keynote speaker, Colonel Ebbets. Colonel Ebbets is a native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, graduated from the University of Florida, and was commissioned a second lieutenant in May of 1993. Colonel Ebbets completed the basic school in 1994 and was designated a naval aviator in 1996. In 1997, Colonel Ebbets completed the CH-46 Echo pilot training and was assigned to Marine Medium Helicopter Squadron 162, where he completed 2 Mediterranean deployments with the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit, 2 combined arms exercises, and numerous unit detachment deployments. Colonel Ebbets graduated from the Marine Corps University Amphibious Warfare School in 2002 and served as the Basic School Combat Service Support Company Commander, Operations Officer, and Executive Officer of Instructor Battalion. Following his time in Instructor Battalion, he served on the basic school staff as Professional Development Section Head and the Commanding Officer of Alpha Company 104. In 2004, Colonel Ebbets reported to Marine Aircraft Group 29 and deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. Upon his return in October 2005, he reported to Marine Medium Helicopter Squadron 264, Marine Air Group 26. Colonel Ebbets completed numerous unit detachment deployments and a deployment with the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit as the Aviation Combat Element Operations Officer with Marine Medium Helicopter Squadron 264, reinforced. In 2008, Colonel Ebbets transferred to Headquarters Marine Corps Department of Aviation as the Aviation Plans, Programs, and Budget Section, Budget Section Head and Flying Hour Program Manager. In 2011, Colonel Ebbets reported to Marine Corps Force Pacific to serve as the Assistant Chief of Staff for Safety. In 2012, Colonel Ebbets reported to the 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, Okinawa, Japan, serving as the current operations officer until he assumed command of Marine Wing Headquarters, Squadron 1, in 2013. In 2015, he returned to the Pentagon and was assigned as the Resource Strategy Section Head for the Program Assessment and Evaluation Division, Programs and Resources. In 2016, Colonel Ebbets was reassigned to the Joint Staff J5 Deputy Directorate Trans-Regional Threats Coordination Cell as a Division Chief for the Assessments Division and Multinational Operations Division. He returned to Headquarters Marine Corps Department of Aviation in August of 2018 to serve as the Aviation Plans, Programs, and Budget Branch Head until detaching for command of Marine Corps Air Station New River. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Ebbets.
Look for my notes here, hold on. They were here, huh? All right. Hey, bear with me, all right? So being from the wing, I'm just got to wing it then, all right? Okay, all kidding aside. So hey, good evening, everyone. For those who know me, after that long bio, I guess I don't have to say my name and who I am and whatever, because I'm looking at the time here, we don't have much time left here to really go through everything else since that bio was so darn long. But look, I do want to take the opportunity to make sure before I go any further recognize and thank several people and organizations. To General Gaskin, thank you for your opening remarks, and now, this is really truly a tough act to follow after your comments. So I'll try and do the best I can. But as a Marine leader, sir, you served and commanded across the force and globe, whether it was in the Middle East leading Marines, in Japan with 3rd Marine Division, Korea with the Combined Forces Command, or here, as well, we all know, in Jacksonville as the Commanding General for 2nd Marine Division. Your impact as a Marine shaped the lives of our brothers and sisters in arms, and your continued service as the Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Military and Veteran Affairs continues to demonstrate your commitment to your Marines, your service members, and community, most importantly. Thank you, and would everyone please join me in a round of applause. Now to the North Carolina Department of Military Veteran Affairs, City of Jacksonville, and the many partners who make awards like the Military Child of the Year possible. Thank you for your continued support of our military children and families. Operation Homefront is now in its 14th year, in case you didn't know that, and it remains the premier celebration of achievements of America's military children, otherwise known, as the General said, military brats. In its first 2 years, it was only recognized across one person for all branches. Recognizing that it needed to be changed, it then, 2 years later, moved on to cover all the 5 core branches of service, later adding the National Guard, and most recently, as you see the flag behind me, the Space Force as a recipient. So the important part of all this, though, is participating in the program. It provides our children with amazing opportunities to connect with senior military leaders, celebrities, and other remarkable military children. Fact here, right? Between Camp Lejeune, New River, and Cherry Point, although it pains me to say that, just kidding, Cherry Point, there has been a semifinalist or a finalist every year since its inception. That in itself exemplifies the caliber of these exceptional young people who have made significant impacts on their families, schools, and communities. The life of a military family is something many will never experience, especially as a smaller and smaller group of Americans raise their right hands and volunteer to defend our nation. That makes helping military children and families more difficult, but also more important. As I read through all the finalists' achievements and experiences, it became clear that our children build uncommon bonds with their families and military communities. I say military communities because it goes beyond our service members and their families and extends to the organizations and people who provide support to help our families not only get by, but thrive and flourish. So to all the organizations and their staffs represented here today and helping make our military families and communities stronger, thank you for your continued support. Lastly, I do want to thank and congratulate our Military Child of the Year semifinalists, Madeline Coble, Brody Galvin, Lillian Gogoa, Naomi Gordon, Gloria Murphy, Connor Nickel, and yes, Ian Nickel, brother and sister, and Courtney Bernard. I'd also like to offer a special recognition to Sophia Jordan, who can't be with us today. Her family transferred to Texas, but she's with us virtually. So wherever you are, Sophia, congratulations on being the 2022 Marine Corps Military Child of the Year awardee. Would everyone please join me in a round of applause? You all represent the best of our Marine Corps and Department of Defense families and give me hope and comfort for our future. As a military brat myself, with a father who served in the Army, thank God I chose the right service growing up, right? We moved 11 times that I can count of. I'm sure there's a couple that I just chose not to remember. During my childhood, and we lived in exotic places like Panama, Puerto Rico, and then numerous places across the continental United States. I was able to build and sustain long-distance friendships, which I continue to this day. And my family and I developed a strong family bond molded by our unique experience, much like yours. The fact that all of our assembly finalists experienced a combined 41 PCS moves and 243 months of deployed mothers and fathers serves as a true testament to the unique and life-changing experience of military family life, a concept that I and many others in this room remain all too familiar with. One thing that stood out for me as a military child, and now as a parent, I have 2 young children myself, and my wife is also another Marine colonel, was and is how I grew as an individual, and my children continue to grow into intelligent, selfless, and patriotic leaders. That's something you don't find very often anymore. My children are extremely resilient and continue to thrive. Every time we moved, they brought with them a wealth of knowledge and experience to their new schools. Making new friends hasn't always been easy for them, but both of them always found in their own unique way to make friends and fit in. And I think you would probably say that's the same for many of you here tonight. When I was a child and we moved to a new duty station, my brother and I used to go around knocking on the neighborhood doors, trying to meet new friends. It wasn't that we were trying to go door to door as a salesman or anything like that, although I will say it did pay dividends later on. Rather, it was our own unique way of trying to get to know our new community, make new friends instead of waiting for them to come find us. And then, I'm sure like you, that started getting that 3-year itch or twitch. Is like, it's time to go. It's time to move. New surroundings. And so that is what I firmly believe the experiences that I had as a military child. Yeah, okay, I was a brat too, I'll admit it. That's for you, Mom and Dad. That they shaped me into the person that I am today. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't change anything. So cherish the experiences that you have as a military child. Trust me when I say that you'll benefit from it and you don't even realize it, and you already have. Looking back now, though, as a father and as a Marine nearing retirement, I realize I don't look that old, right? Okay, but I am going to retire at some point, like all of us have to, unfortunately. One of the many things I've learned is, and I hope my children learn, is I want them to remain adaptable, resilient, and motivated to succeed. All of you have proven that today. And that's what really stood out to me when I read through your personal achievements and meaningful moments. For instance, with Lillian and Gloria, as they continue to make concerted efforts to step out of their comfort zones to lead in their school. Or Brody's commitment to self-improvement that strengthened his bond with his father and demonstrated what you can achieve if you dedicate yourself to a goal. Or Naomi stepped up in her house to not only improve herself, but helps care for her siblings and set them on the path to success. And Sophia, at 13 years old, dedicated herself to more causes than I can count. And I only have, 10 fingers and 10 toes, and the list goes on. So with Sophia, she serves as a model of selflessness for all of us in this room to model after. Each of you has stories and experiences that show your commitment to succeeding not only as an individual, but as a family and a military community. Your adaptability, motivation will continue to serve you well as you move along in life, regardless of whether you join the military or not. Now, that being said, you all seem like perfect candidates to join the Marine Corps, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that. As far as with our Marine Corps Recruiting Command, and you already know which service to choose. Take it from me, right? Sorry, Courtney. Coast Guard is also there for you, too. It's a good option. With all that being said, and having been the person sitting in your seat saying to myself, when is this old guy going to finish? I want to congratulate you all again. It was truly an honor to learn about each and every one of you and your unique perspectives, experiences, growth, and connection to your families. And it is an honor to be able to speak with you on this special day. Your contributions to the community ensure that we continue to trust and look to our neighbors for support. Those contributions make our military community better than ever and make your parents' sacrifices that much more worth it. You serve as great examples to your peers, but also to me as a parent. And that's from the heart. So I thank you again, and Semper Fidelis.
At this time, I will ask the Military Child of the Year semifinalists to come up front and stand side by side in the order called. We do have 3 semifinalists who cannot be here today, but are attending virtually. Representing the Marine Corps, Ian Nickel, Connor Nickel, who was also a semifinalist in the Military Child of the Year Award for Innovation, and Sophia Jordan, who was named the Military Child of the Year for the Marines. For the ones that we have present, if you could come forward, representing the United States Coast Guard, Courtney Barnard. And sorry for a little bit of confusion on directions I gave to y'all earlier. Next, Madeline Coble. Just go ahead. Brody Galvin. Lillian Glagolia. Naomi Gordon. And Gloria Murphy. I will now ask Secretary Gaskin and Colonel Ebbets to come forward to help present the recognition items. Each semifinalist will receive a congratulatory letter signed by North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper that reads, "I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate you on being a semifinalist in Operation Homefront's 2022 Military Child of the Year Awards program. This is an outstanding honor, and I know your family is very proud of you for this achievement. Military families here and across the globe make special sacrifices in service to our country, even with these challenges. It also provides a wonderful opportunity to travel, visiting interesting and exciting new places to make lasting friendships. Congratulations again on this wonderful accomplishment, and I am proud to have you represent military families in North Carolina. With warm personal regards, very truly yours, Roy Cooper." Secretary Gaskin will also present each semifinalist in North Carolina Department of Military and Veterans Affairs Challenge Coin. And a congratulatory letter from the Charlotte Hornets Foundation that reads, "On behalf of the Hornets Sports and Entertainment, I wanted to take a moment to congratulate you on being a finalist for the Operation Homefront's prestigious 2022 Military Child of the Year Awards. As a retired Command Sergeant Major in the U.S. Army, I understand the challenges that you and your family face each and every day. It is because of this that Hornets Sports and Entertainment is highly focused on caring for our military, having developed a host of programs dedicated to supporting and recognizing active service members, veterans, and their families. You should be very proud of your accomplishments and the positive impact that you've made within your family, school, and community. We hope you enjoy the small token of appreciation from the Charlotte Hornets, and we look forward to watching you continue to grow and excel for many years to come. Congratulations again, and we wish you the very best. Sincerely, James R. Jordan, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Command Sergeant Major, retired." Thank you, Secretary and Colonel Ebbets. Next, we will ask Mayor Pro Tem Bittner to come up and present certificate of recognition plaques from the city, from the Jacksonville City Council. Next, I will ask North Carolina Military Affairs Commission members, Dr. Angelia Washington, Mr. Joe Speranza, and Mr. Joseph Hoyle, to come forward to present each semifinalist a congratulatory letter on behalf of the North Carolina Military Affairs Commission that reads, with congratulations on your selection as an Operation Homefront Military Child of the Year 2022 semifinalist, signed by Greer Martin, Chairman, North Carolina Military Affairs Commission. And Representative Cleveland, I'm sorry, sir. Okay. Please give a final round of applause. Thank you, semifinalists. Before we get to closing, I would like to ask all the parents to stand as well. And I'd like a round of applause for the parents who supported these children. At this time, Dr. Washington will come to give closing remarks, please.
Good afternoon to each and every one. Before I give my closing remarks, can we just have another round of applause for our North Carolina semifinalist Military Child of the Year and their parents? It truly takes a community to raise children, particularly in this day in society. And I consider the City of Jacksonville as a community, as the village for military children. It is my deep honor that today, the North Carolina Military Affairs Commission and the City of Jacksonville proudly celebrates the 2022 Military Child of the Year semifinalists. This term now is affectionately known as McCoy. Individually, you have demonstrated great strength, character, a tenacious drive for excellence, and a commitment to serve in military communities in which you live and call home. Today, we honor and applaud and recognize you for your outstanding achievements as military children. Each of you were selected as a semifinalist because you are an exceptional young person, displaying extraordinary leadership, community service, mastery of academics, and personal achievements while all coping with the parental deployments, relocation, and the many challenges inherited in growing up in a military family. You have excelled despite the obstacles you have endured, including a global pandemic. On a personal note, I have been honored and blessed that the the Military Child of the Year 2014 Marine, Military Child of the Year 2015 Marine, Military Child of the Year 2016 Navy, Military Child of the Year 2017 Marine, Military Child of the Year 2018 Marine, Military Child of the Year 2019 Marine, and including the 2022 North Carolina semifinalists, Naomi Gordon, have crossed the thresholds of my classroom at Lejeune High School. Forgive me. Congratulations are in order for each of you for your endeavors, resilience, and strength of character that will shape for a brighter future for all. As military-connected students, the communities in which you live will continue to support, encourage, and celebrate your accomplishments as tomorrow difference makers. Thank you for leading by example, just as your military parents. Your commitment of esprit de corps and your return on investments to these United States of America is without question. Again, thank you, and we congratulate you on your accomplishments.
We'd like to thank everyone for their support. This concludes our program. Please take a moment to come and congratulate our Military Child of the Year semifinalists from North Carolina. The City of Jacksonville has provided refreshments outside in the foyer. Thank you.